of the second place as well. So Demon Damo is back as we look to a fantastic run. All happening here in Superbikes. These are all preliminaries this morning, still counting for points in the TT this afternoon. Back to you guys.
Brilliant start coming there for Pete Goodwin and Louise Blythe as you thread the needle between Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan and Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen as they go down into one in the sidecars. Now, if you're here watching yesterday's race, you know that Andy and Tina got away to a pretty good early start, an early lead, but couldn't hold on to it, and they were swamped eventually by both Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan and also Pete Goodwin and Louise Blythe, and it looks like that's going to be a repeat of the proceedings at the moment. So,
yeah, it looks to be Barry leading them into Kev's carousel, so the 73, the Carl Cox machine.
Motorsport one, yeah, then we go back to Pete the Pirate. He's called the Pirate because he wears a bandana all the time under his helmet and in public as well. Louise Blythe swinging with him. Louise swung for Leighton Manel back in the day, then jumped into a jet sprint, so she's a real thrill seeker, and now she's back on the sidecars, and great to see Pete Goodwin, to give him his full name, doing a pretty good job. Won the race yesterday, currently sits in second place, but it's Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan on the Carl Cox Motorsport 600cc machine that is out in the front.
Yeah, and another thing, we talked about the 15 lapper for the Superbikes and 600. These guys get a 12 lapper for their TT later on, so definitely going to be keen to keep an eye on that as we see Pete the Pirate second place at the moment into the dipper, but the 99 of Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen right on the back of him, so this is going to be a good little fight, I think, for this race too of the sidecars. We saw it toing and froing all race yesterday, and no reason why we won't have some more of that action today.
Have a look out there too for Dennis Charlotte and Will Clemo on the 83 rig. They're currently sitting in fourth place. They're the points leaders. They've got an 11-point advantage over Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen. Gordy McEwen and Louise Scrivener third. They're not here this weekend. So across the line goes the 73, the Carl Cox Motorsport rig of Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan, being chased all the way by Pete and Louise. Then we go back to Scrivener and Tina McEwen, Dennis Charlotte, Will Clemo, Mark Hall and Darren Prentice. Great to see them there, the CTR team there in Garage 9 here at the pits at Hampton Downs, and they've got posters and giveaways for the kids at the completion of this race. So if you want to get a souvenir, go down and see Mark and excuse me, Darren Prentice in Garage 9 here, currently sitting in fourth place. But Barry Smith's got quite the advantage at the moment, nearly a second over Goodwin and Blythe in second place.
Yeah, definitely. This is the part of the track where Barry loves the little flowing into Kev's carousel, then up Swampy Curve now into the double bastard. So a few apex, that smaller little left two sidecar, definitely quite nimble around this bit. But Pete the Pirate, definitely a lot closer than he was a couple of laps ago. So watch his big 1000cc Formula 1 rig that gets a big run of steam down the two straights here we have at Hampton Down. So look out for Pete the Pirate with the run to the line, perhaps.
Yeah, once again we're seeing Andy Scrivener and Tina just dropping off the pace just a hair as they just get a little bit gapped into third place. What we saw, didn't we, the extra 400 odd cc's of that rig on the 111 of Pete Goodwin certainly played an important part in the drag race to the finish, and he's swallowing up the ground as they head down towards the sweeper at the bottom end of the circuit. So that 0.9 of a second might have been swallowed up by the time they get to the top of the hill, but it should still be the Carl Cox Motorsport combination of Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan that will crest the hill here at Hampton Downs and fire through the kink. And look at this, Pete the Pirate right on them. Well, the horsepower advantage tells once again as they head down into turn number 1.
Yeah, he's right on the back of that Carl Cox machine now, so watch for this run. Pete the Pirate will get that BMW powered LCR machine out of there, get out of the slipstream, and definitely look to take the advantage. He'll pull out, they'll be side by side as they head down the back straight, and already Pete the Pirate
got the front
fires
into the braking area. I think there's a change at the front of the field here, Brad. Yes, there is. So it's the long bike of Peter Goodwin and Louise Blythe that goes into the front. Barry Smith, Tracy Bryan goes back into second. No change for third. Still Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen, Dennis Charlotte and Will Clemo back in fourth place. And they sat there for quite some time yesterday in the races too, didn't they? And then they pounced. They had a little bit of good fortune when Andy Scrivener had bad fortune, and they picked up good points. But at the moment, just a hair off the pace there, 8 seconds off the lead. The lead advantage, 0.1 of a second now. Pete Goodwin over Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan.
So yeah, Barry loves this little double bastard part of the track on the smaller rig, so they're going to be side by side as they run, and I think Barry's put it back in front heading into high pull, so that's the the update. The Carl Cox Motorsport Shuzi LCR 600 rig of Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan back in the lead. So Tracy doing the swinging, Barry doing the driving, and they lead into the Porsche Dibber. But Pete the Pirate, we saw how good he was on the front straight heading over the finish line, and no reason why that big new 1000cc BMW unit can't get some power. Already in the short shoot, he'll pull up alongside, and this is some great sidecar racing.
The front running again, I think. Oh, no, he might have overcooked it, and Barry's come right back at him round the outside. Well, Pete tried. He went down the inside, and I think Barry saw it coming and just moved over. And you'll see, well, you may not see, because I said this yesterday, I thought that Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan might lead coming up over the hill, but the extra horsepower of Pete the Pirate's going to play again, and round the outside this time as they head down into one. Barry Smith's going to be the last of the late breakers. He dives to the inside through one, and I think he'll stay there in the front as they head down the long straight, but then it may change again. So a race of changing fortunes here in the sidecars.
Yeah, I think,
a huge part of the New Zealand Superbike Road Racing Championships.
Yeah, Barry just running a little bit deep too, just to put Pete the Pirate off his line, but Pete's come back at them, so they'll have, no, not quite close enough, so it is still the 73 will lead them around turn 2 and into Kev's Carousel. So the 73 of Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan, they'll lead around Kev's Carousel and into Swampy, so this is definitely their favourite part of the track on that smaller rig, and Pete the Pirate just can only look and see if he can catch them back down the front straight. But that was great work from Barry Smith, just went in a bit deeper into turn 1 to upset the outside line that Pete the Pirate had. So this is brilliant stuff, and 5 laps to go still, so a massive 5 laps to go, so still anyone's race at the front. Andy Scrivener still in a lonely ride in third.
Well, you can see the advantage he's pulled out. This reminds me of a race we did here with the cars at Hampton Downs a few years ago. Angus Fogg was in the old Amco Mini, which people that follow motorsport will know about the Rod Collingwood exploits in that car, and he was absolutely monstering Dale Mathers, and Mathers was in a big block Ford Mustang, and because of the nimbleness of the Mini, Foggy could just stay in the front on the long stretch on the corners, but then lost out on the big straights here at Hampton Downs, and that's exactly what we're seeing here with Goodwin and Barry Smith, and I think you'll see it again as they come up the hill once more. This time maybe Barry's got the advantage he was looking for. We'll wait and see. We won't have to wait too much longer as they head up the hill now. Yeah, that advantage might be a winning break here, Brad, I think, because there's daylight now between himself and the man in second place. Across the line they go.
Yeah, definitely. It makes a big difference when you can use your own braking mark, use your own line. You don't have to worry about someone coming in there. So Barry has a comfortable lead over them now. So
well, I wouldn't say it's comfortable, 1.09 seconds. So I think it got out to that yesterday as well, and it didn't work out quite well for Barry and Tracy, but it certainly is at the moment.
Yeah, fair call. Yeah, 4 laps to go in this one, and on the 1:46.0 pace. So definitely some hot pace out there for team Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan on the Carl Cox Motorsport LCR rig. There we go. Pete the Pirate follows them around Kevs and up into Swampy. So absolutely brilliant ride from Pete the Pirate. What a win for him yesterday. There was nothing in it, and run to the line. So this is brilliant stuff. Andy Scrivener, he's definitely grabbing more and more valuable points over Dennis Charlotte. So Dennis leading this championship, but only by 11 points over Andy and Tina. So definitely one of the hotly contested championships as well. So we look at this one with bated breath as we see the 73 machine into high pull. Pete the Pirate, the 111 on that LCR. He's in second place, the long bike, and then go back to the 99, that bright green machine of Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen. So this is brilliant sidecar racing, and what we've been waiting for so far in NZSBK.
Fastest man on the track at the moment with a 1:46.013 is Barry Smith, along with Tracy Bryan. The lap record for sidecars here on the international circuit, a 1:45.227. So a little bit off that pace at the moment, but still forging away out in the front, and that's what it's all about. To finish first you have to finish, and that's what will be on the mind of Barry Smith as he works his way around this international circuit here at Hampton Downs. Pete Goodwin and Louise Blythe just losing a little bit of pace. We'll have a look at the gap this time. It was 1.09 seconds. In fact, it's closed up. It's closed up. We'll just wait for the time to refresh. It's yeah, just under the 1.9. So with laps to go, who's to say that the police, or should I say the prison officer from the Winterless North, is going to mount a bit of a challenge here?
Yeah, definitely look at him just reeling that rig down the back straight. So he's definitely got the horsepower as he comes right up on the back of the 73 machine. But Barry, all he's got to do is keep that rig in front, and the nimble little Formula 2 base machine will do the rest through this tight little infield part of this awesome Hampton Downs International Circuit.
Hey, a unique little story to tell this morning, in fact, as well, because we met up with Kendall Dunlop this morning, and unfortunately, husband Matt had had a crash and broken his collarbone in the warm-up, but it was more the fact of how delighted she was. What a lovely mother, carrying her 10-week-old baby around. But what she did say to us, Phil, is she'll be back on a chair for Pete Goodwin next year.
Oh,
she's only on maternity leave, all right? So she's just taken time off.
Louise is just keeping his feet warm.
Exactly, just filling in. So that wasn't even gossip, that was from her herself. So a great story. She's a dynamic lady. What a beautiful mother and wife. But from our racing point of view, a great swinger. And Louise, as Phil said, just warming the chair.
Right, so 1.9 seconds, the gap between first and second place. They're just working their way through the dipper and down the short chute. So Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan might have this one under control, although I did say that yesterday, and Goodwin and Blythe came back at them. Andy Scrivener, Tina McEwen through in third, then it's Dina Charlotte, Will Clemo, then Mark Halls and Darren Prentice. Saw them at the Classics at Pukekohe, the 40th anniversary of the Classics a few weeks ago, and they ruled the roost on the Classic bike, but here they are on their CTR rig, currently sitting back in 5th place, make it. What's the gap this time round?
Yeah, it's out to 2.5 seconds now. So
it's just starting to extend a wee bit, which is going the wrong way for Pete Goodwin and Louise Blythe.
Absolutely, yeah, that's not what Pete the Pirate wanted, and definitely after that win yesterday. So the roles have been reversed in race 2, and this is boding well for the 12-lap TT race for Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan later on today.
Well, here's the reason why, because Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan have been consistently in the low 146s, and Pete in that last lap was 147, so there's a big second difference there. So that's why that gap has extended just a little wee bit here in the sidecars. Race 2 of 3 for them this weekend here at the Mike Perro Motorfest.
Yeah, so we can update the others. Andy Scrivener, Tina McEwen, they're in 3rd place. Dennis Charlotte, Will Clemo sitting in 4th, with Mark Halls and Darren Prentice up into 5th place on there. They've got a smaller Formula 2 600-based rig as well. Gordy McEwen and Louis Scrivener, they're in 6th. Matt Peters, Doug Corns, 7th. Ian Staples and Kieran Whittam back in 9th. And Dave MacArthur, Tony New in 9th place. So there's actually some great little battles going on all over the track there, and absolutely fantastic to see 10 sidecars out there and racing this well, as we see Barry Smith, Tracy Bryan, they coming out of the Porsche dipper and down into the run into turn 10. So this has ended up being quite a dominant display so far, but they've still got 1 lap to go when they cross the line. The white flag is out and ready and waiting for when they come up the hill and across the line.
2.5 seconds last time round. They head up the hill now. Do Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan, another one of the Carl Cox Motorsport sponsorship stable, another combination that's seen plenty of racing overseas in the last few years. Amazing story. We told you the tale yesterday about Barry coming back with the Suzuki Series this year after a terrible crash at last year's New Zealand Superbike Road Racing Championship. Took him nearly a year to recover, and it was an emotional time for him at the end of last year at the first round in Taupo of the Suzuki Series. But they are back to their best now, and as Brad said, on the 600cc machine. Last year they ran the big bike, the 1000 LCR, but now on the 600, and that gap has extended to nearly 3 seconds now. So maybe it's over for the Pirate and Louise Blythe as to the win, but good points up for decision. They are the defending New Zealand champions. Good points up for decision for second as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and a great ride on the smaller F2 rig. You can see why things like the Isle of Man now have gone to the smaller Formula 2 rig for safety mainly, but just look at how much extra you can get out of the smaller, nimble bike. So brilliant ride here for Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan, the Carl Cox Motorsport team. They're heading into Highpool now, so just under half a lap to go. Pete the Pirate sort of conceded, really. It looks like he's just going around there, second place. That gap up to nearly 3 seconds when they cross the line, so it's definitely white flag stuff there from Pete the Pirate, but can't take anything away from Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan. They're out of Porsche and down the short chute on the way into turn 10. We've got Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen. They'll get another little bit of a points win over Dennis Charlotte to get that championship even closer if it finishes like this. So they're only 11 points back heading into this race. So this is going to be some good stuff from the green machine of Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen. But here's the run up the hill, and Barry Smith, Tracy Bryan are going to come Who and cross the line and getting it done. And what a win for Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan. And Pete the Pirate, he'll come through and a good second place. So some good championship points there for those two as well.
Yeah, the pace definitely coming out of it. 5.399 seconds, the gap between first and second. Just saw one of the rigs going very slow down the long front straight here and pulling off to the side. So maybe a mechanical issue. It might have been Darryl Williams and Brian Flynn, but we'll check on that for you as we wait for the rest of the competitors to come through.
Here comes the green machine of Andy Scrivener, Tina McEwen. They'll cross the line. That'll be a third place for them. So a good solid bit of championship points. They will chew up another good 2 points there back from the underground Brown and Mega Motorcycle Centre entry of Dennis Charlotte and Will Climo on the 83 machine. So definitely got a little bit there. It is there. Darren Halls and that's Mark Halls and Darren Prentice. So yeah, so I got that around the wrong. So they've got up into fourth in the end. So we're not sure. It might have been Dennis Charlotte, that rig you saw there. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, we'll just keep an eye on the, well, he was the points leader going in this morning, was Dennis Charlotte. He said that
just before we... Thank you. Just before we have our podium for the sidecars, got Jim with us from our Moto Trials. So we've been watching the Moto Trials out there on the skid pan today. And here we are at the moment. Morning, Jim. How's the session gone?
The session's gone very good this morning, Neil. Everyone's up their game and are all urging to win this championship.
Yeah, great to see Motor Oils and our sponsors. But who was the person designing the course? Man, I love all those earth-moving tyres, the concrete pipes, the pallets up and over containers. Well designed. Who was the key team behind that?
Well, we have to put our hands together for Tony Perkins. Tony has run this for 2 years now. He's a bit limited to his knowledge. He's helped ably by Phil Shilton from Tauranga, but Tony's done the bulk of the work.
Great to see you. All right, you've got some results for us.
Yes, we have. We've got the results of the first lap. We've got 3 laps on today. Second lap is about to start in the skid pan after the demo wheelies, and that's about to happen now. But straight after that, we'll be back onto the skid pad and lap 2. At the moment, we've got Jake sitting on 8 points. Narrowly behind him, sitting on 10 points, is Jules, and behind that is Warren on 19, and Blake a little bit further behind. But that is very close racing. We can see a good competition here today.
I tell you what, when you've got competitors like Blake and Warren, who are absolute legends in our sport, great to see. And we've got Jules and Blake, so there's an opportunity with some younger guys coming through.
Oh, always. We enjoy seeing young people in our sport.
Great to see. All right, so give us a bit of an idea of what people could see. So they've been watching the racing out here and they want to see some exciting moto trials. What should they be looking for? Okay, that overrides us.
Well, Neil, one of the more spectacular things down there is we've got a full-size container down there, and in 2 leaps they can be up to the top of it. So a little bit of a kicker at the bottom, and quite scary. A few of them are backing off a little bit. We had a little bit of an accident there yesterday, but today they've got it all in hand and are getting to the top in 1 bound.
All right, Moto Trials, go and check it out. Thank you, guys. Love your work. So well done over there. Just waiting for our sidecars here for this podium.
That's history. 3
Thanks, Neil. We'll get back to you very shortly. Just a quick mention, Team CTR sidecar, and that is Mark Halls and Darren Prentice. They've got A4 posters to give away from
So thank you to
Garage
Spider.
9.
Oh, sorry, guys. Just an update from Spider, and Spider knows this stuff. Folks, don't challenge this. 3 ladies, first, second and third, first time in history for New Zealand sidecars. Not so much the Barry, Peter and Andy show. It's Tracy, Louise and Tina. So there you go. For women today. Well done, Tracy, Louise and Tina. Just fantastic. So great to see. And here we'll have an opportunity to get them on the podium. So here we go. It's indeed the Barry and Tracy show up first. So there you go. Thank you, Spider, for the update. And indeed, as we catch it, what we're talking about is the fact that we've got 3 lady swingers, and they've achieved a first, second and a third. The first time ever in New Zealand sidecar racing history. So well done to the girls today. They are absolutely awesome. And of course, we've been talking about Louise's work and the fact that Kendall's Girls on maternity leave at the moment, and she'll be back next year. So look out for Girl Power. There are more super capable women who will be here in New Zealand sidecar racing. Check the quality of the machinery. This Carl Cox Motorsport F2 machine is beautiful. Ladies first. Good morning. I don't know whether you heard that, Tracy. Girls 1, 2, 3. All of you. You with Louise and Tina. Ladies doing it in the sport. You've also been a racer. A lot of people might have forgotten the beautiful pink machine that you pilot out there. Is that a special tell about women in our sport?
Absolutely. I mean, there's more and more women getting involved too, you know, in every level and on every type of machinery. So yeah, I think it's awesome, and I think quite a few of them are showing some of the boys how it's done just quietly.
Yeah, here indeed. All right, hey, tell us about what a contrast to yesterday. You really had to work hard out there with Louise doing the swinging and Pete that finally eclipsed you. But what was the secret to winning by that margin? It was brilliant this morning.
Well, we knew we had it. We knew we had the skill and obviously quicker in the corners. It was just having that 600 compared to the 1,000, you know, on the straight. So we had to get enough of a lead in the short part of the track to be able to stay ahead in the big straights. But hey, Barry rode awesomely as he always does, and managed to pull it off. So yeah.
But excuse me, tiny petite ladies, all three of you petite ladies, and it looks like you've got nothing around your arm. The muscle, the body work must be incredible. How do you hold on?
Well, it's all about the timing, really, rather than the strength. If you saw the size of my arms, they're not very big. So yeah, I think it's more the timing and just going with the riders, how they ride, and just yeah, the using the bike really, and the forces. So yeah, I think we're all pretty good at what we're doing, and I'm really proud of the other two girls for getting out there and, you know, showing them how it's done.
Well done. Let's hear it for Tracy. Isn't that beautiful? Well done to Tracy. So change places there. Barry, the F2 machine. You must be working on all the time. That was just a blitzing run. What have you done overnight? Because that was way better than yesterday.
We haven't done anything really. I just sat last night and figured out a couple of places on the track that I could just maybe make a small gap just so we didn't get past on the straight. And it just seemed to pay off through the infield a bit more today. So yeah, yesterday we just about got tipped on the line by 0.3 of a second. So I knew I didn't have to make up too much, but just enough to get that gap.
So going down the straight, is it a fear factor? Is it look in the rear vision mirror, which doesn't exist, to think that those guys could get you on the inside? Is that the feeling?
Well, yeah, I know they're there. I can hear them. And when I can hear them, I know they're going to come past down the straight because there's just a huge speed difference between the two bikes. But obviously the small bike's very nimble through the infield, so we can claw back some of that time through the infield.
You'd say that generally a 600 wouldn't have a chance of beating a 1,000. So is it the nimbleness? Can people understand as well it's a whole different sidecar, or is that the same one you put 1,000 in? So what's the difference in the chassis as well?
No, that's an F2 chassis, which is obviously the short chassis with the engine in front of the driver. The F1s are a longer chassis with the engine behind the driver, and they've generally got much bigger brakes and bits and pieces on there. They handle a whole lot differently to the little F2.